Hey Richard, your Grader Blade's set up. So of course you got the hoses plugged in, case drain plugged in, the 14 pin plug. So it all runs into the control box here. So you got hydraulic side shift, hydraulic rotation, and then the up and down height control. So the wheels out the front. I'll show you how these controls work. So on the Cat, it's quite simple. You've got the optional extra joystick already fitted to the machine, which is fantastic. So we have here 1, 2 buttons. So these supply power to some of the pins on the 14 pin plug out there. And then over here we have the additional 2. Then really importantly, up here on the switch panel, there's 2 switches here. This one says aux 7 when it's that way, or rabbit when it's that way. What that means is this trigger button, when it's towards the rabbit, that means this trigger button is doing your 2-speed travel. So turtle, rabbit. When you press that switch down to the 7, this now switches. So this is now doing your 14 pin plug output. And what this is wired for is there's the latching relays down on the valve to switch the functions. So you press this trigger once and it will then switch from the height control to the side shift and the rotation. So I'll show you that in a sec. And of course here we have the other 2 buttons that we need. So first thing we need to do is turn the machine on. And then we can see up here, we need this powered on at the moment because it supplies power to that switching relay. So that just needs to be in that position. And then of course this one needs to be across to the number 7. And then we need continuous flow. So to do that, you hold down this button until you see that symbol flashing, which is this symbol here. And then, yes, so flashing. And then you hold the auxiliary slide switch up for 2 seconds. Then you'll see that it stops flashing. That means that the auxiliary is now latched on. So when I use the buttons, the 14 pin plug buttons, you can see that the Grader Blade's moving. So if I use this button here, the left side goes up and down. And then if I use this button, the right side goes up and down. If we press this button here just once, the trigger, now when I use this side, you'll see that the side shift there is working. And then when I use this side, you'll see that the rotation is working. To go back to your height control, we just press that button once. So now I'm back to height control. On the Cat, it doesn't give you an ability to select what flow that you want as continuous flow. So if you're finding that the blade's moving too fast, so we have it set quite low at the moment, and that's adjustable with a valve on the control block, which is just in there. So you take that panel off and you'll get to it. So you can adjust the flow. But if you want it to get more finesse, so it's a little bit slower even, what you need to do is you press this down until that symbol flashes. And then on here, instead of sliding it all the way to the top, you slide it to about halfway. And then when it stops flashing, that is the speed at which it will hold. So now you can see this is the speed at which it will move up and down for this continuous flow. So you can, this is a Cat thing, not a GF Gordini thing. It's just how Cat allow the flow to be selected. Like I said, there's a flow control valve on the GF Gordini, which you can adjust to make the blade move faster or slower. Most of the time you want it moving quite slow. So again, if you can't get them to switch between the functions, so when you press this, have a look to make sure that you're not on rabbit and that you're on there. And then if the switching is also not working, you might not have this turned on. So that has to be turned on. So that's all integrated onto your Cat and ready for use. You're getting it set up with the Raptortech 3D GPS, and at start it's going to be guidance only. So you still need to watch your screen and then do the manual controls up and down on both joystick to follow the guide. And they're going to work on, as we know, we've fitted already the CAN bus chips to the blade. So they're working on integrating that so that the GF Gordini can be automated. All right, mate, any questions, just give me a ring.